Hello, everybody. I'm Jesse Waters, along with Judge Janine Pirro, Jessica Tarlov, Katie Pavlich, and Tyrus. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. Fox News alert, RFK Jr. dropping the biggest bombshell yet of the 2024 race. He's suspending his campaign for president and endorsing Donald Trump. Much more on that coming up later. But first to this. Donald Trump hammering Kamala's DNC speech while back on the campaign trail in Las Vegas. Watch.
Last night, the speech, she made 26 different things that were lies. She lied. She didn't mention the border. She didn't mention inflation. She didn't mention the bad economy. She didn't mention crime. She didn't mention any of the things that she's supposed to be mentioning, but she mentioned Trump 21 times or some crazy thing. Did you see the beginning? Thank you, 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 thank you. I said, what the hell is wrong with her?
And here's what Trump was talking about. It was all style, no substance in Kamala's DNC speech. VP Harris bathing the roaring applause lines and glowing adoration from Democrats. It was the culmination of a coronation that started with a coup. Harris going light on what she plans to do for America, but heavy on how bad she thinks the former president is.
Donald Trump is an unserious man, but the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious. He would use the immense powers of the presidency of the United States to serve the only client he has ever had, himself. Our nation with this election has a precious, fleeting opportunity to move past the bitterness, cynicism, and divisive battles of the past, a chance to chart a new way forward.
Judge Janine, be fair. I know you're always fair. What did you think of her speech?
Do you want me to be the judge or the prosecutor? Well, look, you know, she's the first bait-and-switch candidate we've ever had run for president. After 3 nights, we finally do hear from her, and she is basically whomever you want her to be. I was so impressed that she talked about prosecuting cases on behalf of the people against the individual defendant. I mean, everybody in the country does that. We've been doing that for years. She acted like, you know, I came up with that. I said it was the people and not just you against the defendant. But other than her telling us what a great prosecutor she was, my concern is that she, in all her prosecution experience, she didn't bring it to the office of the vice president. And for the last 3.5 years, we've had 10 million people come into this country, at least 2 million unknown, most of them unvetted. What percentage do you think are criminals? Okay, this is the crime-fighting prosecutor. If it's 1%, it's 100,000 people. If it's 10%, Kamala, it's 1 million people. All right, unvetted criminals coming out of jails in countries like El Salvador and Venezuela and Colombia. We don't know who they are, but she's going to chart a new path forward as a prosecutor for the rest of us. I think what is amazing about all this is that she never made it clear what her job was as the border czar. She had the opportunity as a prosecutor to come out and say, I'm going to handle the border. I'm going to bring all the United States attorneys in this country and everyone from DEA and ATF, and we're going to go down to that border and we're going to stop the crime. We're going to stop the fentanyl that's killing Americans. We're going to stop the human trafficking. We're going to stop the child abuse, including the more than 250,000 children that we've lost during this administration. And we're going to make sure that we find these kids, that they're not being trafficked, they're not being sexually abused, they're not being used in child labor. Any prosecutor worth her salt would have been talking about all those things. And she has the hubris to talk about how great she was on the border, that she's a border prosecutor. She is everything but a prosecutor, because no one who's been a prosecutor would go on and allow what is going on in this country for the last 3.5 years, where this country has been invaded by criminals and we have suffered as a result of it.
Happy Friday.
Thank you.
So we heard from Michelle Obama, We heard from Barack Obama. We heard from Oprah Winfrey. Was this Kamala speech better than any of those speeches?
Yeah, yes, it was.
Yeah,
Because
it was. Do you think it really
why
was?
was it?
Because that's it. I mean,
Why
those people
ask me
are
a question I'm about to?
powerful
I understand.
speakers.
They were all fantastic speakers. I had never seen Michelle Obama speak live, and I thought it was one of the more incredible things I'd ever seen in my life, just hands down. But I also think that Kamala Harris did a really good job, and she did exactly what she needed to do. And you can judge how strong her speech was by the strength of Donald Trump's meltdown.
That was a meltdown?
Really? So it starts on Truth Social while she's speaking, right? Are they talking about me in all capitals? Yes, of course, we're talking about you. Then he moves on, he starts calling Brett and Martha. When they try to inject a dose of reality into it, like, you're not really leading in the polls, he flips out. Then they have to get him off the phone because Gutfeld has to start. He's not done, though. Then he calls Greg halfway through the show, right, Tyrus?
Was the happiest moment of Greg's life, and I'm afraid he might not come back.
He's too big for us
Like,
now.
him having a hat trick in a hockey game is like, it was a walk-off home run in the World Series. He's got nothing left to prove. So it was a great moment for Greg.
So it was a meltdown, and it continued today in Las Vegas. And the evidence of how well she did was in cold, hard facts. In ratings, Trump's favorite thing, 22% up from Donald Trump's acceptance speech. 7.2 million raised between 11 p.m. and midnight over the course of the entire week. ActBlue says over $100 million came in for Democratic candidates, organizations. There was a panel of undecided Pennsylvania voters, a focus group, 8 of them in there. 6, after watching the speech, are now going with Kamala Harris. Those are all hard facts that show that she did a really good job. We know about the enthusiasm being up. We know about the polls going in her direction. The thing that I thought was most effective was she didn't give a partisan speech. And this was tracked online. Bill Kristol put this up. I thought it was fascinating. She said, America or Americans 34 times, country or nation 20 times, Democrat or the Democratic Party 0 times. She talked about freedom 12 times, family 8 times, opportunity 6 times. She knew that if we put back together the coalition from 2020, those 81 million voters, which included moderate Republicans, and you saw Stephanie Grisham, Jeff Duncan, Adam Kinzinger, et cetera, speaking directly to those people, making the case that this is an America issue, that Donald Trump is undemocratic. He is not representative of at least the old Republican Party. And if you believe in democracy, that Kamala Harris is the only option. And I feel very good about the entire week, even without Beyonce, which we will talk about later in the show.
Democrats have never liked the Republican Party. I mean, they accused Mitt Romney, who they would praise today as a moderate.
But they didn't call John
wanting to put
McCain
people
a
back into
traitor or a
slavery.
loser or a sucker.
Democrats love Republicans only after they betray their own party. But going back to the DNC this week, it was really fun. It was a show. Hollywood came to play. It was a great time, but Hollywood's also a lot of fake fantasy, and that's what you saw this week. Starting with Monday night with the send-off of the sitting president from the campaign trail, when everybody says, goodbye, Joe, we love you. All the pundits and Democrats on TV are saying that he was a patriot and courageously gave up power. That's not true. He was forced out of the race, and Kamala Harris was inserted in an undemocratic way into the top of the ticket. And they wanted everyone to believe all week that somehow she was part of this democratic process where she earned that spot. She didn't. She was put into place by donors, by the rules in terms of transferring money over to her because she was a vice presidential candidate from the Biden campaign.
She was on the ticket.
Did she earn any primary votes? Did the Democrats even have a primary? No. In terms of what she said during her speech, the reason why she gave not a partisan speech is because she's, again, engaging in this fakery that she's continuing by claiming all of these things, that she's a moderate, that she actually cares about the border. And then finally, they really tried last night to turn her into the commander-in-chief. This is why you had Leon Panetta speaking right ahead of her, why they showed her speech from West Point, and why they inserted some foreign policy into her speech, completely ignoring the fact that none of the wars that she talked about existed under former President Donald Trump. They are trying to portray that she was not part of the past 3.5 years, that all of the pain she is discussing that has been inflicted on the American people somehow is Trump's fault, and that she hasn't been part of the Biden-Harris administration, which, by the way, the White House for 3.5 years has been very specific about including her on all of these big projects that she has gone around the country and touted. So it was fun. It was a good show. Lots of great music, but it was very, very fake and not genuine in terms of the substance.
Tyrus.
I found her speech hubris. Is that the word? Hubris?
Hubris.
I was confused. I felt like the writer's strike had shown its ugly face, because I was watching two different movies on the same channel. Whenever the old guys talked, Bernie and the president, they would include her in all their successes, talking about her being the deciding vote and doing all these things to keep their wonderful position going on. So during her speech, I was waiting here. It was me who was the deciding vote to tax tips. It was me, the deciding vote. She didn't talk about any of their accomplishments. So it's like they want to have their cake and eat it too. But I think, again, it was a feelings. Yes, that is the word. It was a feelings place. It looked like a wonderful place to be. Everyone's having a good time. All the cat ladies were represented. It was a beautiful thing. But there was no substance. Biden saying one thing, Bernie saying one thing, she's saying one thing. The only thing I did learn that they all agreed on was that it's good to have a vasectomy van, an abortion bus outside. And the ones who really stood out were the police department. They were literally defending the group that wants to defund them, demoralize them, take away their rights. And the men and women who wore the shield kept them safe from their own party. So that's my hats off to the police.
There was tons of law enforcement and veterans on the stage talking about how our communities are safer, that crime is down.
So they
and
could have opened the doors up and let the Palestinian supporters in?
There were more American flags at the DNC than there were at the RNC.
Patriotism's cool when it's new.
American flags are back in the Democratic Party.
Yeah, because that's not the flags they like to. That's not the flags they like to sail. They like to burn the American flag and raise the Palestinian flag.
Oh, and her on Israel, was that good enough for you?
No, it was not.
How is that possible?
How is it possible?
Yeah.
What do you mean it was? How was it not possible?
She dignified the existence
she
of
wrote
Palestinians.
a letter that somebody. She wrote, "Actions speak louder than words." That's the one thing we've learned about. You can tell me it's raining, but when it smells like pee, it's still pee.
What did she do about the Jewish students who couldn't get into their classes? I didn't hear her talking about that. Now it's important.
All right, Jessica, we have a whole lot of show left.
Great.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.